Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? Wonderful to see all of you on the screen and on ground. And I see some little people, and I want to say welcome. We're so glad you're here for Bring Your Sons and Daughters to Work Day. Hi, kids. Wonderful to see all of you. Before we begin, please join me in a moment of silence for all who've been victims of injustice, violence, and brutality, including those in the news, those in Ukraine and beyond, and so many others whose pain and suffering too often go unnoticed and unaddressed. Thank you. So it's really great to see you all today. We welcome everyone attending on ground and virtually, and we especially welcome, I hope, Lalisa Williams. Yes, Lalisa's here. Lalisa, we love you. We love you. We are so happy to have you back. Well, this is, needless to say, an extraordinarily busy and exciting time of the year. And I have lots that I want to share and ask others to share, and we want to make sure we have time to talk. Let me just get started. Lots of items for celebration. So at the April 11th meeting of the Board of Trustees, 11 full-time faculty were granted promotions following the review and recommendations of our Faculty Promotion Committee and the recommendation of Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Darrell Jones. And we congratulate the following faculty who were promoted to full professor. I'd ask you to please hold your applause until everyone's been recognized. Dr. Shaneen Caruana, Professor of ESL. Claudia Delgado, Professor of Academic Foundations Mathematics. Dr. Nadia Headley, Professor of Biology. And Catherine Sweeting, Professor of English. Congratulations, colleagues, and thanks for all you do for this college. And we also congratulate the following faculty who were promoted to Associate Professor. Dr. Sirhan Abdullah, Associate Professor of Health Services. Dr. Peter Kronrath, Associate Professor of Business. Evgenia Kozlenko, Associate Professor of ESL. Kual Krishnan, Associate Professor of Academic Foundations Mathematics. Craig McLaughlin, Associate Professor of Psychology. Lester McCrae, Associate Professor of Business. And Alana Winslow, Associate Professor of Business. Congratulations, valued colleagues. And we further celebrate the awarding of emeritus status. This is new for us, to 9 retired faculty colleagues in recognition of their contributions of long and distinguished service to Hudson County Community College. I think to a person, they served here for at least 20 years. 20 years. Please hold your applause until all have been announced. We thank and congratulate Philip Cafaso, Professor of Business, Culinary Arts, and Hospitality Management Emeritus. Salvador Figueres, Professor of Humanities and Social Sciences Emeritus. Dr. Thomas Tsai, Professor of STEM Emeritus. Dr. Nabil Marshood, Professor of Humanities and Social Sciences Emeritus. Sarun Mugardichian, Professor of Business, Culinary Arts, and Hospitality Management Emerita. Denise Phillips, Assistant Professor of ESL Emerita. Harvey Rubenstein, Professor of Humanities and Social Sciences Emerita. Dr. Mujde Tabatabai, Professor of STEM Emerita. And Barry Tompkins, Professor of Humanities and Social Sciences Emeritus. We are so happy to bestow emeritus status on these fine retired colleagues. And our hope is to continue this tradition, inviting nominations from the college community, ultimately bringing forward recommended emeriti colleagues to the board. And this means then that that title carries with the individuals forever. They can have business cards, and we want to also really be active in encouraging these colleagues to remain involved in the life of the college, even perhaps having space on campus for them. This was all Dean Paul Dillon's vision in the last conversation I had with him, so it's wonderful to see it coming forward. Last week, we received word that Hudson County Community College is one of 20 community colleges nationwide to have been named a 2023 Most Promising Place to Work in Community Colleges. This is the second consecutive year we've been recognized by Diverse Issues in Higher Education and the National Institute for Staff and Organizational Development, or NISOD. And according to the organization's joint press release, and I'm quoting, a research team uses a web-based survey approach to examine categories such as family friendliness, salary and benefits, and professional development opportunities to determine the honorees. The research focuses on workplace diversity, staffing practices, and the work environment. And we want to thank Vice President Anna Krapitsky and Vice President Nicole Johnson for their leadership and support in providing some requested information that we were asked to provide that included student and enrollment demographics, institutional support, and practices and programs that prioritize DEI in all we do. So congratulations to all of us. So this means we have to update our badge to say 2023, and we actually do have the updated badge that I hope Jen Christopher will distribute. HCCC and the other honorees will be published in the May 25th issue of Diverse Issues in Higher Education magazine. This is the largest DEI publication in American higher education. And I'm happy to note that last year we were the only community college in New Jersey of the 23 last year that were recognized. Of the 20 this year, Hudson County Community College is also an honoree. And so we're in good company, and congratulate President Eric Friedman and his colleagues. And on a related note, we're grateful for the 58% response rate for the HCCC employee survey that was conducted recently for the Great Colleges to Work For program. Now, this is a separate recognition with a separate set of criteria. So most promising places to work in community colleges, great colleges to work for. This Great Colleges to Work For process is one sponsored by the Chronicle of Higher Education and a nonprofit organization called Modern Think. You may recall that last year we were recognized in 5 different categories as a national best practice institution, and we're eagerly awaiting the results of this year's survey in June. But we had a good response and participation to the survey, a little bit better than last year, which was also very good. Okay, come on in, folks. We have some goodies in the back. Last week, our colleagues Natalia Vasquez-Bodkin and Lori Margolin were honored by the National Alliance for Partnerships in Equity at their conference in Washington, D.C. Lori and her team received NAEP's Team Award for her leadership of the Gateway to Innovation program funded by J.P. Morgan Chase. And Natalia, very appropriately, received the organization's Heart and Hope Award. And these awards are certainly well-deserved and a point of pride for the entire HCCC family. So congratulations, Natalia and Lori. On Saturday, April 15th, 20 Hudson County Community College students and alumni joined Vice Presidents Dr. Lisa Doherty, Dr. Nicholas Chevrolotti, and me at Middlesex College for a statewide convening of community college student leaders and alumni. And I'm pleased to say that HCCC had the largest contingent of participants, and Drs. Doherty and Chevrolotti presented sessions as part of the day's agenda. So thanks so much, Lisa and Nicholas. Absolutely. Last Tuesday, many of us judged or watched the presentations of 8 teams that were candidates to represent Hudson County Community College at the upcoming Hudson County Entrepreneurial Pitch Competition. The local and county pitch competitions are sponsored by Mission 50 and held each year at the Mission 50 headquarters. This is a business and entrepreneurial incubator workspace in Hoboken. And students from HCCC, St. Peter's University, and Stevens Institute of Technology will present their locally winning product design projects for a chance to win the overall trophy this year. And that'll be on May 1st for anyone it's open to everybody. We celebrate all of the HCCC students whose presentations were excellent, and we congratulate our winning HCCC student team members who presented their product, Smart Wall. You have to come to the competition on May 1st to know what that is. But we congratulate the students, Adrianis Almonte, Mateo de Souza, and Maria Malia. And I might add, the winning team receives $2,500. They received $2,500, but we also congratulate our HCCC second and third place teams, DigiFit and Color Match, respectively. And these teams earned awards of $1,500 and $1,000, respectively. And, and most importantly, what a fantastic opportunity for students. We had a number of coaches there. In fact, let me just say that. I want to say thanks to Mission 50 for sponsoring the event, funding the event, but we also thank Professors Sharon Daughtry, Dr. Peter Cronrath, Dr. Clyde Lee, and Lester McCrae for their mentorship and coaching of our students. We thank our judges who had to deliberate on a challenging decision. Dr. Heather DeVries, Dr. Lisa Doherty, Nicole Johnson, Dr. Darrell Jones, Anna Krapitsky, Dr. Uris Pujols, and business and industry partner Brian O'Malley, and our timer and auditor, Dr. Allison Wakefield. And we further thank Dr. Ara Karakashian, Alana Winslow, and Royal Ross for their strong support. And I've left people out, but thanks to all the students and others who attended to make this really wonderful opportunity available. Kudos, students. You make us all proud. Last week, Phi Theta Kappa advisor Professor Ted Lai and 5 students attended the Phi Theta Kappa International Honor Society annual conference in Columbus, Ohio. If you've never been to one of these, it's amazing. I mean, you really are worn out by the end of it. There were over 3,000 students and staff attending this conference. Representing us, in addition to Ted, were Tiana Malcolm, Bianca Montero, Alexis Negron, Burva Pinto, and Claudia Zwanek. And Tiana participated in the PTK Scholar Bowl, and her team won, and they receive a monetary award, all the team members. And our Beta Alpha Phi chapter was recognized as a 5-star chapter, a REACH chapter, and a Mellon Grant recipient. So congratulations, Ted and students. We're so proud of you. Ted's here, I think, right? There he is. Thank you, Ted. Tomorrow evening, Hudson County Community College's Beta Alpha Phi chapter of Phi Theta Kappa will welcome more than 120 new student members at the spring induction ceremony. That's counting off the program. It's a lot of students. The induction ceremony will begin at 6:30 p.m. in the Gabriel Library 6th floor atrium. Please join us if you're able. It's always a really inspirational event, and we'll have students and their families there. This evening, 2 HCCC students will be honored at the annual New Jersey Scholars Celebration that will be held at the New Jersey State Museum Auditorium in Trenton, and I look forward to presenting our student honorees, Dina Thompson and Sally Elwer. Dina started her Hudson County Community College education in our English as a Second Language program. She majored in accounting and earned her associate degree in December with a GPA of over 3.9. And she's continuing her accounting studies at Rutgers, where she's been awarded a full scholarship. And Sally, as most of you are aware, is president of the HCCC Student Government Association, and she will graduate on May 17th with an Associate of Science degree in Criminal Justice. She'll be recognized at commencement as valedictorian of the class of 2023. She's also a semifinalist for the prestigious and highly competitive Jack Kent Cook Undergraduate Transfer Scholarship. So we congratulate and celebrate Dina and Sally. I don't know. These students truly exemplify this college's mission and the transformational outcomes of students' experiences here, and we celebrate them. And I'm going to mention something. It's not on my script because it's just totally hot off the press, but I see Dr. Clyde Lee here, and we just learned. Clive, are you willing to come up and? Well, I don't know that I'll get it right. So there's a national competition sponsored by NSF and AAC, the American Association of Community Colleges, for research teams. And it's a competition, and the top 10 teams, am I right? Top 12 teams from across the country, this is judged by NSF, are invited to Washington, D.C., where they will compete for the national award. And this was in 3 publications this morning. Hudson County Community College is one of those 12. And Clive Lee, thank you for your mentorship. Yeah, this is a big deal. This is really a big deal. Guess who else is there? Bergen. I don't know. I'm going to tell Eric to calm down. But no, we're really proud of that. And it wouldn't surprise me if we win it. But even if we don't, we've already won. Last week, we welcomed back to campus our ATD leadership coach, Dr. Mary Fifield, and our data coach, Dr. Renee Garcia, Mary and Renee met and spoke with faculty, staff, and students across the college, many of you, and they participated in an afternoon data summit led by Associate Vice President for Institutional Research and Planning, John Scanlon, with numerous really outstanding and very helpful presentations from quite a few HCCC colleagues. I have to tell you, as I watched that, I was just so proud to see just this manifestation of so much work that's being done all across the college in the area of data and using data to inform best practice. It's truly work that's owned by everyone, and a number of you gave really fine presentations. I didn't understand most of it, but I know it's really fine. So at this point, it's my pleasure to invite Dream Team Chair, Dr. Heather DeVries, to discuss the visit and also offer an update on the continuing comprehensive work of the ATD Dream Team and implementation teams. Heather.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, sons and daughters. Nice to see you. So yes, Mary and Renee were with us for their last visit of this academic year. This is 4 in total. They were with us Wednesday through Friday and just jam-packed days. And we continued, good news, we continue to be their favorite college. But thank you for everyone who helped make their visit happen. Jack Quigley and team, Julio and team, the Flick team, and so many of you who participated in meetings with them for extensive chunks of their visit. So thank you. It truly takes a village, and I'm very grateful, and I think they were really grateful to see the engagement and just the support that they have here at Hudson, and that they are really part of our family. So they started a good chunk of their visit. The first day and a half, all day Wednesday and half a day Thursday, were devoted to our ongoing engagement with them surrounding pre-nursing and nursing. So in the morning, their visit started with a cross-functional team meeting, the pre-nursing implementation team, which consists of our nursing and health, School of Nursing and Health Science, School of Nursing and Health Professions, Dean Catherine Sarangelo, Dr. Lori Bird, Lisa Siekowitz, along with representatives from admissions, from advisement, from testing, from financial aid, from IR, of course. Shout out to John Scanlon, who really just was there through everything, and I thank him for his dedication and pulling data on the spot. To really sit and talk about some of the procedural issues, the process-based issues with our very large pre-nursing cohort. Again, this has been a focus of our ATD work for several years now, of thinking about this very large cohort of 800 pre-nursing students we have, students who are interested in pursuing a career in the health science field, in nursing, and then thinking about kind of how that gets funneled down into the capacity limits set in our nursing program, and how we can best serve and really honor the intentions and the desires of those 800 students to make sure that they either gain admission to the program or find an alternate path that fits to nursing or to another program in health sciences or otherwise. So we worked through many of the recommendations Mary and Renee made in their February 2023 follow-up letter to the college, and certainly have some homework to do over the summer, but a lot of progress was made, and they were very, very pleased and impressed by all that has been done to date. So thank you, everyone, for your continuing engagement there. Later that afternoon, we pivoted to a meeting with Dean Sarangelo, Dr. Bird, and Lisa Siekowitz to talk more about nursing-specific matters. Mary and Renee learned about our recent visit from ASIN, nursing's accrediting body, as well as some changes to the NCLEX, the next-gen NCLEX that's launching in a few weeks, or has launched, and some other process and procedural issues, some labor market issues with a number of nurses set to or estimated to depart the field, and how we can help fill those gaps. So just a really robust and wide-ranging conversation about everything surrounding our nursing program for Wednesday afternoon into Thursday morning. We also reviewed some data around those who apply to the nursing program and those who are accepted, and again, ongoing homework there as well. But thank you especially to the nursing team for their engagement over the day and a half. Thursday afternoon was the data summit. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you. I know I learned a lot, although much of it too was far over my head. But thank you to John Scanlon, John Ergola, Aisha Edwards for their leadership in putting the day together, as well as our presenters, Dr. Gretchen Schultes, Irma Williams, Nicole Johnson, Anna Krupitsky, and Tricia Clay for their presentations on various up-and-coming data systems. It was exciting to see how everything was tying together and really in alignment. And then Mary and Renee closed out Thursday with a meeting with the ESL team, Director of ESL and Academic Foundations, Jed Palmer, Dean of Humanities and Social Sciences, Allison Wakefield, and Dr. Stephanie Callow, our ESL specialist, around implementation of our Title V grant project and what's kind of on the radar there as we close out our first semester implementing the new curriculum. Finally, on Friday, they met with our Racial Equity Leadership Academy team. As a reminder, the Racial Equity Leadership Academy is offered jointly, ATD offers it jointly with USC, and we were one of 10 colleges, I believe, nationally selected to participate in the RELA, R-E-L-A. And as part of RELA, our team develops a racial equity change effort. So we thank you to Dr. Yoris Pujols for his leadership in leading our RELA team, which has grown for the better, and some really robust discussions around what the scope and focus of our RECE, our racial equity change effort. And Mary and Renee provided, I think, some really great food for thought and helpful feedback that will carry the work forward and really optimize it. We do get 2 coaches through RELA, 2 RELA-specific coaches, and I think we're hoping to facilitate a time when they can meet with Mary and Renee just to kind of exchange ideas and get on the same page. And then their last meeting on Friday prior to the exit meeting was with the Hudson Scholars team, which they continue just to be so impressed by the scale and scope and reach of that program and how it's really moving the needle on retention, completion, and particularly closing equity gaps. So they helped us think through some things around the next year of Hudson Scholars, I believe what is referred to colloquially as year 3. And I think too there's some follow-up there, or again, maybe more questions than answers as well. So they had a really great visit. They left, I think, on a really positive note. And we are awaiting their follow-up letter, which will be shared with the college community when we receive it. And then we're also talking with them about their visits for next year and trying to map out some dates, and holds will go on calendars as soon as those dates are determined. My one other note is that from the data summit, everyone filled out their activity, those worksheets about data needs, what you'd like to know, data you'd like to have access to. I have all those forms. I'm going to scan them, and the dream team will review them at the next meeting, and we'll see what's kind of actionable in the immediate future and what's maybe a little bit longer term. I'm happy to answer doing questions now, or do you want to hold off? Sure. Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. DeVries. There are so many new doctors, Dr. Sarangelo, and so many more to come, which is really great. So the HCCC trustees approved our fiscal year 2024 operating budget at the April 11th meeting of the Board of Trustees. The new budget includes a 4% increase next year in tuition and fees, following 0 increases for the past 3 years. But let me explain the rationale for that. The maximum federal Pell Grant this year nationwide increased by 7.25%, following a 6% increase last year. So the Pell Grant maximum award has gone up significantly. So this 4% increase in tuition and fees after 3 years of level will be more than covered for the vast majority of our students who receive Pell funding. On Tuesday, the Hudson County Community College Board of School Estimate, or BOES, approved our requested 5.7% increase in fiscal year 24 county operating support, similar to the level of requests to the county that were approved over each of the last 2 years. This additional in-base funding of $1.15 million will be used to support our large investment in new technology that was installed over the past 2 years with federal stimulus funding. So we were happy to install that technology that was paid for, but now we have to maintain it and continue to grow it. And so this will provide an in-base source of funds to do that. And the county also gratefully approved our capital bond funding request through the Chapter 12 statewide program to support deferred maintenance and other facilities needs next year. Next year, the total fiscal year 24 Chapter 12 capital facilities funding shared equally through state and county bonds will be $4.3 million. And we thank Vice President Veronica Zeitner and her team and Vice President Nicholas Chevrolotti for their leadership in this annual budget process. And this means that our fiscal year 24 budget process is virtually completed. Next year's operating budget's about $73 million. That's an increase of, I think, is Veronica here? I think it's 7%. But the budget continues to be very stable. We have very strong financial all the metrics are strong, our reserve is strong, and once again, we're proud to, year after year, have audits that show no findings, and actually we are growing our net position each year. I don't know if we'll grow again this year or not, but I think we're in good shape. Okay, following more than 2 years of planning, we're pleased to have completed renovations of the beautiful terraces on the 6th floor of the Gabriel Library and the 7th floor of the North Hudson campus. Glass safety barriers were added above the perimeter walls of both facilities that far exceed safety standards for these facilities. In fact, we didn't need to even install them at all, but we wanted to make those spaces just feel very safe. And yet, if you haven't seen them, it's really, really nice because they're just totally clear, and so they don't interrupt the beautiful panorama. But also furnishings have been acquired so that the terraces can be enjoyed by all during most hours when these buildings are open and throughout the year. And we're in the process of doing really nice plantings there, including plantings around the 9/11 memorial sculpture, where in the future we will hold annual remembrance events. And it's really fun to see many students, faculty, and staff enjoying the Gabriel Library Terrace. I haven't yet seen the North Hudson Terrace, but I have seen the Gabriel Terrace being used, including yesterday during our administrative professionals luncheon. We see students, faculty, staff going there, having lunch, enjoying the sun, even holding informal meetings there, or maybe formal meetings. And the cabinet's currently developing signage, information regarding hours of operation, and other safety measures that include camera surveillance and patrols to observe how the spaces are used and can be enhanced and to monitor safety. And we're going to be having ribbon cutting ceremonies in the near future. But let me just say, if you're not aware of this, check it out. It's really a nice place to go for lunch or just to hang out, and kind of nice for our students in the library to have a space like that as well. And I guess that segues into DEI, right? Because that space is right across from the Office of DEI. So it's now my pleasure to invite Vice President for DEI, Dr. Yuris Pujols, and PAC Day co-chairs Natalia Vasquez-Bodkin and Rafi Manjikian to offer a DEI update. And very importantly, we want to update all of you on 2 major events coming up next week and the week after: Haku on the Road and the Creative Placemaking Summit. Yuris, Natalia, and Rafi, thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I want to say that I'm really glad to see a lot of traffic in our floor. Now people know where we are. Before that, it's like, oh, where? What place exactly? Okay, and this is not what I prepared for this. But I want to give you, a quick update of what's happening at the office. Some of the big projects that we're working on. Then Natalia will speak about what's happening in the through the grant, Opportunity Meets Innovation Grant, and then Rafi will provide an update about PAC Day and what's happening with some of the subgroups. Before we get into it, I just wanted to recognize the people behind the Holocaust Armenian Genocide annual commemoration that was held yesterday. It was an excellent program, very heavy history, personal experiences of what happens, and it's you know, the takeaway from me is that sometimes it's important to look back and really reflect over the history of what has happened, right? Like sometimes we just forget it, and when you fail to look at what history is telling us, right, you might be able to, you know, fall into repeat it, right? So just want to recognize Rafi Manjikian, Professor Ilana Winslow, and all the PAC Day and non-PAC Day members that work behind the scenes to make that program possible. I also want to take this opportunity to mention some of the programs that are coming down the pipes. Chris, Heather talked about RELA, the Racial Equity Leadership Academy that we're working on. And she talked about the expansion of the team. So there were 5 of us, and those were designated by position. The president needed to be a part of this. Dr. Jones needed to be a part of this as the academic officer of the college. I needed to be a part of that. We needed a faculty member, and also Anna Kopitsky. So that was Gianna Batiste, who teaches English. That was the faculty member, and that was our core team. But when we come back, we start looking at the data. What can we do? How can we do this? What actually makes sense? And we want to make sure that we get these broader angle, right? These broader perspectives at the table as we move it forward. So we included an extended relay team. You know, we have Matt Fessler for enrollment services, and now I believe Lisa Doherty might also be joining us. Floyd Jeter from the city of Jersey City, John Scanlon to provide us with the data, make sure that we're able to always crunching it, and Dr. Jerry Lamb as well, who's also and Gretchen and Janagola will be joining us. The idea is the focus for the program is the retention and completion of African American and Black males. And Hudson Scholars is one of the programs that has really made an impact on those gaps. You know, we were seeing the gaps close. So we are going to look at areas of intervention activities that would allow us to directly support this population to support that impact. Thank you. So this will be, Hudson Scholars is helping all students, including Black and African American males, but this program will be intentional and very direct to promote the retention and completion of those populations. The other two programs that Chris mentioned that we have coming up, HACU on the Road, Hispanic Association of Colleges and Universities, Dr. Flores, they're going to be here next week on Thursday, exactly a week from today. And it's going to be a whole day visit. We have 5 different programs, and I just want to invite all of you to the 2:00 session. We're going to have a town hall. It's going to feature Dr. Flores, Dr. River, Professor Gilda Reyes, and I'm going to be there helping out, facilitating the conversation. But we want to talk about advancing the educational aspirations of the Hispanic community. And you're going to have this head of this national organization that works at the national level, the community college perspective, and also the faculty perspective, the direct services, the direct interaction that speaks to some of that. So, and also we're going to be closing out the session with, there's going to be a closing reception in the atrium of the library, and that's going to be open to all of you. So you have received calendar invitations for both the HACU Town Hall as well as the closeout reception 4:30 in the afternoon. The other program that we have is the Creative Placemaking Summit, and the creative placemaking communities, they organize these national summits throughout the country, and the Northeast, Mid-Atlantic Summit is going to take place here a week after HACU, right? That's going to be on the 11th and the 12th of May. And it's going to be, again, full-day programs. We circulated some information. So if you're interested in participating, interacting with individuals that are concerned about civic engagement, art, community involvement, placemaking, all you need to do is let Mirta Sanchez from our office know, and she'll register you, and that's what it is. And there'll be no cost. There'll be no cost to that. So it's a full conference that is happening at our campus, and, it's going to be available to all of us. And we're going to be heavily involved. I mean, Dr. River is going to be co-leading a presentation about gentrification, leading gentrification in Hudson County. Some of your peers are also going to be leading a presentation about the arts and how they impact the student experience and how that has a compound impact out of that, right? So the presenters are going to be Professors Jeremiah Typen, Laura Ricodana, Eric Adamson, Michelle Vitale, and yours truly. So if you're able to participate, I think it would be a great opportunity, and also a great opportunity to go and support your peers. There's also going to be a tour and an evening reception to close that day. That's going to be on Thursday. So the afternoon and evening of Thursday is going to be Hudson County featured through and through. But that's all the updates that I have. I would like to pass it on to Natalia, and I'll be taking my Megatron with me. But thank you.
Thank you, Yuris. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll provide updates on the Opportunities Meets Innovation Grant and the associated DEI office initiatives. So to begin, the Opportunity Meets Innovation Grant was awarded in the summer of 2021 to provide safe and inclusive spaces throughout our college community. We are now in the tail end of this grant, and it will conclude on September 30th of 2023. Whenever you receive a grant, the ideal intention is to institutionally absorb it. And so I'm happy to report that all the initiatives with the original grant will be sustainably carried on beyond the grant date. So two major initiatives that was supported and made a reality due to the support of this grant is the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Student Passport Program, also known as DEISPP, and the eCornell Diversity and Inclusion Certificate Program offered by Cornell University. Currently, DEISPP has 70% completion rates, and on May 5th, at the North Hudson campus, approximately 45 students will be graduating from the program and receiving equity leadership opportunities. Students who graduate from DEISPP are invited to participate in the President's Advisory Council on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, a clear pathway to being a student leader and having their voice heard. As a measure of long-term sustainability, DEISPP will be absorbed into Student Life and Leadership and will live under both our offices and as a fully online enrichment program for HCCC students. The eCornell Diversity and Inclusion Certificate Program currently has 12 seats open to HCCC employees. If you're thinking about taking this course but are hesitant, I encourage you to sign up while you can still access it for free. eCornell on its own costs approximately $4,800. The Diversity and Inclusion eCornell Certificate Program begins with a look at employee engagement, then identifies interventions surrounding unconscious bias and specific diversity and inclusion strategies. This program is appropriate for anyone committed to going beyond mere compliance to build a truly aware and inclusive work environment and culture. There are 4 courses, 2 weeks in length each, for a total of 8 weeks, which is approximately 2 months. It requires to complete. And give or take, they recommend 3 to 5 hours per week to dedicate towards this. To date, 166 people have signed up for the program and 82 individuals have completed it. 11 people in the current cohort are on track to complete, and we have June, July, and September sessions available. If you have already taken the D&I certificate program and are interested in other certificate programs at Cornell University, beginning this summer, you will have the opportunity to explore other areas such as marketing, data science, and analytics, environmental, social, government, leadership, technology, program management, human resources, business and finance, hospitality, food and plant science, real estate, healthcare, engineering, law, and nutrition. You can sign up on your own and lock in a 90% discount rate under our current contract for Cornell University, and you can use your tuition reimbursement. It will only cost upfront approximately $1,000 in comparison to $4,800, to reiterate. And after completion, it is reimbursed. So next Wednesday, we will be hosting an information session for those interested in hearing more about this opportunity, and look out in your emails for more information. Once the Opportunity Meets Innovation grant runs out in the fall semester, as a measure of sustainability to ensure that our employees continue to receive D&I training in context, Richard Walker and I created a 6-week DEI training course on Canvas that will launch in the spring of 2024. The training provides a nuanced approach to DEI training and addresses issues for HCCC staff and faculty regarding the principles of access, equity, inclusion, diversity, and non-discrimination for employees and students. Training participants explore the various topics that are often ignored in higher learning institutions, discriminatory practices and implicit associations based on race, biological sex, age, social class, gender equity, ethnicity, ableism, neurodiversity, and more. The training is self-paced, so flexibility allows participants to complete the course at their own leisure. For each 2 courses completed, participants receive a digital Credly badge to put on their LinkedIn or on their resume. There are 3 badges total, and eCornell does not offer this, just so everyone knows that. So that's unique to our program. Another important and timely initiative that is a partnership with OSHI, PAC Day, Goal 3, and the Care and Concern team is providing ALICE on-ground active shooter training. We signed a $12,000 contract to provide this proactive measure to ensure that our college community is ready to face anything that may occur on our grounds, and that members feel confident, safe, and educated. There have been more mass shootings than days in 2023, totaling to date 163 thus far. There have been 131 mass shootings with 4 more people wounded or killed so far in 2023 compared to this time last year. One of these shootings took the lives of 3 9-year-old children, and today is Bring Your Child to Work Day, and my own 9-year-old was currently in the audience. And this is just another reason why the on-site training is so necessary. Currently, the ALICE training is offered to every employee online, and they're drastically low numbers as we have assessed. From the most recent data, 881 users have not started the training. 29 are in progress, meaning they've opened the course, not actually completed the course, and 84 have completed the online training. So for those who have completed the training, your community members, thank you. And for the 881 users who have yet to open the course, I urge you to type in ALICE training into your email. That's ALICE. Email into the search bar and begin educating yourself on what to do if there ever was an emergency. And I promise you, it is better to be safer than sorry. And more information on this initiative is to come. So I'd like to take a moment to shout out the Opportunities Meets Innovation Grant committee members who have made the successful execution of this grant possible. These members have met on a bi-weekly basis for the past 2 years, and each of them take ownership of a task. Dr. Christopher Conson is my co-lead and oversees the financial aspect of this grant. Nadia James provides expertise in all things related to grant. Amala Ogburn provides leadership over eCornell. Veronica Gerasimo provides leadership for DEISPP, and Anna Krapitsky and Yuris Pohos provides leadership for Title IX. I want to thank you all for your diligence, dedication, and excellence for these past 2 years. You can clap. As this grant comes to an end, it's a bittersweet that all of us have been able to be involved from beginning to end, and it was an honor to lead this amazing group of peers and friends. And this concludes my remarks. Rafi Manjikian will be next to provide PAC Day updates. Thank you.
Thank you, Yuris and Natalia. A lot of great things going on. Yuris touched upon it in his remarks, but I'd be remiss if I didn't also shout out Alana. Usually Alana's here, but I think she's online. But we did have the event on Tuesday, and it was very, very moving. Dr. Jones, thank you for your opening remarks. They were very, very good. To everyone who attended, we had roughly 130 people log on, but that was being live streamed at Pascack Valley High School, so counting those students in the classroom, we had over like 300 people at the event, and it was nationwide. We had people from California, my family, log on, as well as Alana's family. So it was pretty heartfelt and pretty emotional. So thank you for attending the event on Tuesday. I encourage you to attend Haku on the Road, as Yuris mentioned, as well as the summit that's happening the following week. Please do your best to reach out to Mirta, to RSVP for both events, and we'd appreciate it if you can attend. For the subcommittees, Subcommittee 1, co-chaired by Veronica and Anita Bell, they are working on the food diversity. So as you see, there's more food in the back, more diverse options. So we're doing our best as possible to cater to everyone's needs so everyone can have something to enjoy as the meetings progress. Subcommittee 2, which is about HR practices, co-chaired by Chris Conson and Mirta, they're working on including a DEI champion on every search committee. So this person will be having some type of training, either the eCornell training or the training that Natalia had mentioned. and every search committee hopefully will get one. In addition to that, they're looking into updating bullying practices. So we'll see what's to come for Subcommittee 2. Subcommittee 3, co-chaired by Tejo Parek and Kathy Smith-Wenning. Natalia mentioned the Alice-based training, but Kathy would like to give one update right now for Subcommittee 3 that she just told me about, and I can't do it justice because she just told it to me. So that's why she's coming over there.
Does that work? Okay. So associated with the ALICE training is Stop the Bleed training. So Dean Sarangelo allowed me to order the equipment that we need, the mannequins, the packing, the tourniquets, and everything else that you need to train people in Stop the Bleed, which the curriculum is written by the American College of Trauma Surgeons. We'll also have a few of the paramedics from University Hospital in Newark assist in some of the training for Train the Trainer. I hope to train some trainers here at Hudson County Community College to assist in the ALICE training for the entire staff. So we'll have Stop the Bleed training prior to the on-site active shooter training, and then Stop the Bleed training afterwards, because then you really will be motivated to know what to do if someone has a gunshot wound, a stabbing, or some other malady where they're bleeding out profusely in front of you. It's to stop the bleed until help arrives. Associated with Stop the Bleed training, just a club plug here, since I have the mic, the Health and Medical Sciences Club hosted a Stop the Bleed training for Union City High School a few months ago, and the Health and Medical Sciences Club is also assisting in New Jersey AIDS and HIV, the fight against New Jersey AIDS and HIV with the May 7th walk on the Asbury Park Boardwalk. Go to Involved and you will see information about that walk. And that is it.
Thank you, Kathy. Subcommittee 4, co-chaired by Alana Winslow and Paula Robinson. As Natalia mentioned, they're working with Richard Walker to create our own type of eCornell training for our community members, as well as incorporating DEI into the classrooms, looking at best practices to do that. Student Action Group, we have the ceremony for the SBPP program. When is it? May 5th at the North Hudson campus at 12 p.m. So if you can also attend that to support, that'd be nice. And we always appreciate everything. If you have anything you'd like to share with us, or if you anything you'd like to see, please let us know. We thank all our members, and we also would like to welcome back Lalisa. Lalisa, I never got to say thank you for the service that you provided before Natalia and I in person. I was always doing that virtually or through email, but now you're here, so I can say it in person. Thank you for all the co-chairing that you did before Natalia and I. Thank you.
Well, Eurus, Natalia, and Rafi, thanks for your exemplary leadership, and thanks to everyone around the college. I'm pleased to share that I've been invited to co-chair an ad hoc committee of the New Jersey President's Council focused on social justice, and co-chairing the committee with me is Dr. Marquita Evans, who's president of Bloomfield College. And, you know, I want to just share that I'm sure I'm not alone in saying weighing on my mind deeply has been what we see happening in different places of the country, defunding DEI, don't say gay, telling high school teachers they can't talk to kids about their sexual orientation, removing books from libraries, and discontinuing tenure, and on and on. I mean, these are big. And I'm going to be encouraging PAC Day to read some materials. There are all kinds of different points of view about what, if anything, should we in higher education be doing? And how do we balance taking a stand against negative things that could happen in terms of our mission and our students as a result of that. Fortunately, we're in a state that's now codifying support for DEI in response, but I think it's a really important national conversation, so I'm hoping we can start that discussion in PAC Day and then also have it as a discussion item maybe through the summer and beyond. Okay, changing gears. Last week, Dr. Bob Burnell our consultant who's working with the Athletics, Intramurals, and Club Sports Task Force and who has patiently been on the screen waiting for our discussion of this. Bob was on campus and in our community to meet with many of you, with staff, students, trustees, and elected officials. Dr. Bunnell and Vice President Dr. Nicholas Chevrolotti toured facilities in our community that might be available for future athletics teams. And the response from the community regarding a future HCCC athletics program has been overwhelmingly positive. There was some discussion of this at the All-College Council meeting yesterday. I want to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Chevrolotti and Dr. David Clark for co-chairing our athletics, intramurals, and club sports task force and for their leadership in this planning process. And, you know, the process includes thinking about which athletics teams to offer and in what order, and what is going to be the, you know, the nature of those teams, what are going to be the overarching principles, the mission for this program, but also intramurals, club sports, and all the rest. So I'm going to now ask Dr. Bunnell, who's athletics director at Salem Community College, but who has a long history in college and university athletics. He even coached athletics at Kenyon College, where my daughter was a student. Dr. Bunnell, will you please offer some remarks about the planning process, and I want to take this opportunity to thank you as well.
Thank you, President Reber. It's been a great pleasure for me to get to know so many of the good folks at Hudson County Community College and also in the community. We've had some good visits, as Dr. Reber mentioned, at some other institutions, talking with them about the potential use of facilities. Really, I'm trying to assist the college in answering 4 basic questions. Who is going to be in charge of the program? Who's going to coach the teams, et cetera? What sports? Where will they play and when, in which order? I think it's really important that under these 4 questions, there's a subset of other questions that really will impact, I think more than anything, the timing of what sports are offered and in which order. I think it's really important to do the homework to make sure that you all give each of the programs that you start the greatest chance to succeed. I do think that adding a lot of sports at one time is complicated, and I can tell you from personal experience that it is complicated. We did that here at Salem, and it was messy, and so really have learned a lot through the experience here. But what I will say is that when you do this and it's successful, there will be so many benefits from having done this. Your enrollment will increase. You're going to reach students who have not considered your college in the past because you didn't have sports. They are at your competing institutions right now. It is going to kind of change the atmosphere on campus. People will be cognizant that there are athletic programs, that there are athletes. Student athletes are a special breed, I like to say, and they tend to be very competitive and very social. So I think they will make an impact in your community, the campus community. I also think that the opportunity to work with the other colleges and schools in your area will really help to increase what are already very good town-gown relationships. So, you know, in an attempt to be brief, that's kind of the outline of what I've been working on with everybody, and hope to have a final report and recommendations by the end of next month. So I'm not sure if I'm in position to answer any questions, but I would be happy to do so if so.
Bob, we're almost finished, and then we're going to open it to questions about any of these topics. But let me just ask, thank you. Nicholas or David, was there anything you would like to share?
We definitely would not be able to do the work, and thank you, Dr. Bonnell, for your expertise and advice that you've been giving Hudson County Community College. I just want to quickly thank the task force members. So along with Nicholas and myself as co-chairs, we have Madeline Rivera, we have June Barrier, Karen Hosick, Rafi Manjikian, Dr. Heather DeBreeze, Brian Rivera, who is our Student Government Association representative, Matthew Fessler, and Jonathan Bowman. So we just want to give them a nice round of applause. They've been doing a great job.
Okay. I do want to now turn to Nicholas, though, to do an update on tower and parking. Have you heard of those two things, tower and parking?
No one claps anymore. Chris, they used to clap. They used to clap before I got this assignment. Thank you, Bob. So on the tower and parking, we had hoped to break ground this month. We were sort of working on a very aggressive timeline. That is obviously not happening. I think we communicated that in a couple of different ways, but just to give everyone an update. We were prepared to accept bids on March 18th. I think I spoke to this group before that. Unfortunately and unfortunately, we received, after months-long conversations with the county, their endorsement and commitment to fund the financial gap on the project. But in order to do that and access certain funds, we needed to amend the bid documents that we had been advertising for the previous 3 months. Those amendments did not come through until we were within 7 days of the bid acceptance, which is we are not allowed to amend the documents at that point. Therefore, we canceled that advertisement. We've made the amendments that were required, and then we need to resubmit them to the Office of the State Comptroller for approval. Jeff Roberson has been working diligently with the State Comptroller to get final sign-off on those bid documents. In fact, this week, we received what we hope are the last 3 questions for clarification, and we'll be responding to those in the early part of next week. As soon as we have State Comptroller approval, we will put the building back out to bid. It will not be a 3-month process. It will probably only be about 30 days or what's legally required since the entities that are interested in bidding on the project are already well aware of it. We still hope to award the contract and break ground this summer, which will keep us on schedule for an opening of September 2025. So this afternoon, so everyone knows, in case some of you political geeks who are out there, the county commissioners will be passing a resolution fully endorsing and committing to fund the tower project. We're very excited about that. And a couple of things have come out of that conversation. One, we've been asked a couple of times about labor and the use of organized labor on the site. The project is in excess of $5 million. The college is fully committed to signing a project labor agreement with the successful bidder. Therefore, it will be a unionized job. Second, the county entered into an agreement with a consulting firm to monitor the diversity, especially for minority and women businesses, on the courthouse. It's been a very successful model. They have a little bit more flexibility than we do under contracting law, but the board is fully committed to pursuing a similar agreement with a similar consulting firm so that we can track that and we can have that information readily available and also meet the diversity, equity, and inclusion standards that we've established. Switching gears real quick to parking, we are in the process of going out to bid for the demolition of 119 Newkirk. Once we demolish that building, as I've said previously, we will have surface parking for 40 spots. We are going to be entertaining the possibility of including stackers, similar to New York City. Lisa's like, please, we need more parking. Either double or triple stackers. That's a bid process, and that'll be dictated by that process. But we think that will, for the June, July date that we take the Enos lot offline, we're hoping that by September we'll have the 119 Newkirk lot back online. I just, in full transparency though, these dates, are very much up against each other. And we are all, our consulting team, our lawyers, Veronica's team are, working at a feverish pace to try to make sure that we can have the parking lot come online before September. There are a lot of machinations here, but we are working. And I just want to disclose that now, because not that it's going to temper any anger if we don't get it done in September, justified anger, but it's very close right now. We're also continuing reviewing properties in the surrounding area. We hope to enter into a lease for a church parking lot down on Room Street. We're sort of moving forward with that process. Continue to take ideas. Please, if you see something, don't hesitate. The other thing is everyone should have received a survey. John Scanlon sent out a survey yesterday on parking. He told me this morning that we have over 150 responses already, so please keep it coming. We've also gotten a couple of emails about, concerns about the survey, which are very much appreciated because, quite frankly, we're in the process now of trying to collect as much information as possible. And the reality is that not all of us have the same experiences because we don't have all the same hours. So we appreciate the comments coming in. So I think that is all of it. All right.
Thank you, Nicholas. The due diligence of this is phenomenal. We appreciate your leadership so much. I'm delighted to share that the New Jersey Council of County Colleges has agreed to partner with the New Jersey Reentry Corporation with leadership from HCCC to develop and offer new industry-recognized credentials through pre-apprenticeship training for court-involved persons. The New Jersey Council of County Colleges will contribute $373,150 to the first year of a multi-year project to expand our current efforts to serve incarcerated, reentry, and other court-involved individuals. And the New Jersey Reentry Corporation will contribute an additional $113,850. We're planning an announcement event at HCCC in the next few weeks and expect the new training to begin this summer at HCCC and at the Governor's Reentry Training and Employment Center in Kearney. And we thank the HCCC Incarcerated and Reentry Training Task Force co-chairs Laurie Margolin and Dr. Heather DeVries for their leadership. Laurie's not here today, but Heather, would you like to offer comments? Thank you.
Thank you. And I too will try to keep this brief. So I'll start with our update on the Academic and Workforce Pathway Program that is for individuals who are currently incarcerated. We do have we anticipate that 2 students will be graduating this May with an associate degree, so that's really, really exciting. And then we have finalized a proposal with the county for year 3 of this program. And we're moving it forward for approval. The year 3 contract is for $350,000, and which is an increase from the year 2 contract that was for $300,000. So that's a real testament to the program's success and continued efficacy. So we're grateful to the county for their continued support. Switching gears to New Jersey Reentry Corporation. I'll stick on the commencement theme. We have our second cohort of culinary students who will be graduating this May. The 3 students in this cohort are planning to walk at commencement. And I thank Marion Betancourt for her assistance in making sure that they know all the details, have their caps and gowns, all of those kinds of logistics, as well as our partners at NJRC. And we're also hoping to welcome, so they'll wind down with the end of the regular spring semester on May 15th. And then we're also looking forward to welcoming back 3 of our students who finished in cohort 1 of culinary over this past summer. In August, they finished. I believe we have word that 3 of them are planning to attend commencement as well, which is really very, very exciting. Otherwise, we have our first phlebotomy cohort, and again, phlebotomy is the first of its kind program in the state of New Jersey. Our cohort has finished their didactic instruction and are now moving on to their externship experiences, so we're really excited for them. And our second cohort of welding too is winding down in their work. Again, this is a non-credit welding program that is funded through our grant through the Metallica Scholarship, the All Within My Hands Foundation. So we'll see what year 2 of that grant and the opportunities afforded there look like moving forward. But I did receive an update from our contacts at NJRC this past, I guess it was Tuesday, that many from cohort 1, they're picking up momentum and finding employment, which is excellent news as well. And then otherwise, we continue to talk with NJRC and how we can expand this partnership. Dr. Reber mentioned the summer training program, and then also thinking about how we can expand to offer particularly our 2 certificates, our proficiency certificate and our academic certificate in cannabis for NJRC clients as well. So that's kind of our next program from implementation. But thank you to everyone who plays a role in these programs. Lori and I certainly couldn't do it without everyone. It does take a village. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Heather. And planning continues in full force for our May 2023 commencement ceremony that will again be held at Red Bull Arena in Harrison. And to date, we have over 1,400 Hudson County Community College students who will graduate. This is a college record. New Jersey Senate, yeah, that's worthy of celebration. New Jersey Senate President Nicholas Scutari will address the graduates, and we will honor, as I mentioned earlier, SGA President Sally Elwer as valedictorian of the class of 2023. So we hope you will all join us to celebrate our graduates and their families on Wednesday, May 17th, beginning promptly at 10:45 a.m. The rain date is the next day, May 18th. Do want to thank Dr. Lisa Dougherty, Dr. Nicholas Chevalotti, and all the members of our commencement planning committee for the continued leadership and support. This is a big event, and it's looking really good. And then I'm also happy to remind us that shortly after commencement, on Friday, May 19th, we'll all enjoy our first summer Friday off. That will continue through early August. I hope that you'll all take advantage of the summer Fridays with fun, relaxation, time with your families and friends. And so, thank you for your patience. We now open the meeting to questions, comments, and topics of celebration. So for those in the Scott Ring Room, please approach the microphone. For those participating virtually, please raise your hand. And we have Dr. Karakashian.
Just a little announcement. We have shortbread and chocolate chip cookies in the back. Help yourselves.
Sorry for those in the cloud. Others. Do you have questions about athletics or anything we talked about? Yes, Royal.
Very brief. I try to keep my notes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Reba, for your exemplary leadership as others here. And so I have a few questions, but I'm gonna just try to sum it up with the one. Natalia Boken, you stated in terms of a new but I have the certification. So for me, what does that look like in terms of the 6-week one, the unique one that y'all just built out? Like, in terms of when can I start looking to register or whatever that is?
Did you take the eCornell?
I did not.
Okay, so first I recommend taking the eCornell. So you can get that for free, quote unquote free. And then beyond that, if you want to continue, it's really a continuance of the eCornell program. You're talking about the new one that is in context for HCCC. That is, created by Richard and I. And it's for sustainability measures. But essentially, if you go through eCornell, you're walking away with a Cornell University certificate in comparison to the one, and no shade to ours, but it's Cornell University. So I do encourage everyone to please take advantage of that. It was a very expensive, contract. But if you want to continue it beyond the extension of the life, then we're going to provide it in something that we created, homegrown, very similar to DEISPP, but in context to our employees. We're also going to provide additional opportunities not specific to eCornell through human resources. So if you want to receive a certificate from Cornell University in economics and other things and so forth, you can still receive it at that same rate and use your tuition reimbursement.
Thank you so much. And lastly, I think Dr. Reber referenced, anyone have questions? I'm sorry. Did anyone have questions regarding the sports? So thank you, Dr. Barb Brunell. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. So in terms of being one of HCCC's admissions recruiter, I normally go out and recruit the high school students. And one of the questions would always be, do we ultimately have an athletic team? And so sometimes that would hinder those that would like to join, but I think this is a great asset for the college. And though there will be some logistics that you all will be following up on, but I ultimately believe that this will open up doors for those of students, especially, no shade on anyone, students of color, to actually begin to look into going to school in terms of college, right? And so I just want to thank you for your leadership as well in helping us to have that move forward. So thank you. So I didn't have a question, just a comment.
Thank you, Royal.
It's my pleasure to do this, and you make a good point. There are lots of folks who would not go to college if it were not for an opportunity to extend their athletic career. So I think you're right on target there.
Thank you. Others? Okay, few hands. Doreen? Doreen Ponchas? There we go.
I'm here. I was trying to unmute. Thank you, Dr. Reber. I guess I wanted to share a couple of good things. As you know, Mental Health Counseling and Wellness has received our innovation grant for higher education for both Mental Health Community Partnership as well as staff and faculty development training on mental health. So we're really excited. That will be starting in July. For the next 3 years, we will be utilizing that grant to help support the community, both staff and faculty are interested in that. So I want to thank Deliana for all her hard work and for letting her family become a part of my evenings ritual, which we were going through it. And she did a lot of hard work on getting it and helping me get it. So I wanted to thank her. Also, just to let staff know that we have said yes to the UL, which is a telehealth after hours provider, which will be able to provide crisis intervention, wellness intervention, like almost like a headspace kind of thing, as well as after hours support for our students. And that will be starting within the next month or so. Regarding JED updates, I've had a really great couple of teams working on policy and changes. The policy team has we've just completed writing our mental health leave policy, which we'll be submitting to David and Lisa for review, and will hopefully go to the board soon. It's, I think, an important policy that we need in place to help students be able to go out and know that they can come back and be supported at all times by us. So I wanted to thank everyone who worked on that. I also want to let everyone know that on the back of your ID cards, the new students should have the crisis hotline and the mental health counseling line, which was one of our strategic goals as a department. And we also got approval for the syllabus to have a mental health statement. So students are able to access support through those ways. And currently, Deliana is working with Louis Reyes, Alberta, to start in fall our first student-run Active Minds group. So we will be promoting students to become a part of the conversation on mental health. I'd like to thank and say goodbye to the 12 interns, social work interns that are graduating. We did really well this year with their support. We had a lot of programming and awareness, and we appreciate them. And we will be welcoming 10 more new interns in for fall. And on May 1st, I'm sure you've met Caroline Arrega. She is our new full-time social worker. And she will be 3 months. So she goes between campuses, and she's just an added benefit to the staff. So I would like to remind everyone to sign up for our mental health trainings. I would like to shout out to Dr. Lamb, who is bringing his classes to all of these trainings. I so appreciate him and his effort to expose his students to these opportunities. So thank you.
Thank you, Doreen. Wow. You know, thank you for everything you and the team does. We can be so proud of the growing supports that you're making possible for our whole community. And thank you. And I can't believe I left the grant off of my script because that's huge.
No, it is definitely huge. Thank you. As I said, I think without Deliana's help and of course, David Clark's leadership and support, we definitely are prepared. We have good plans to just support our students and also support our staff and faculty, because I do know that they need the support and understanding of how to best support our students. So we have big plans coming up in fall. So just watch out.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I think we've got Veronica Gerasimo with a hand up. Veronica.
Hi, everyone. You can hear me. Yes, I see my mic moving. So of course I could go on and on, but I need to especially give a shout out to the Student Life and Leadership team. This time of the year is just nonstop for us. We are doing events constantly, which is all the time. But wanted to celebrate April. We celebrated 4 different commemorative months. So we have our HCCC Pride Month. Thank you to Dr. Reber's support. We have our updated Pride flag hanging in the A building and working on getting that up at the North Hudson campus. We had a very successful Pride Parade. The pictures are up on Flickr. So hopefully we continue that. That was our 2nd annual one, looking to continue to make that a tradition. In terms of training, we held our safe space training a couple weeks ago in person, and we do have our Beyond the Basics training happening tomorrow afternoon virtually. So if you are interested in kind of going beyond the terminology and beyond the vocabulary and definitions into how to create a supportive environment for LGBTQ plus folks, that is happening virtually. You can RSVP on Involved. We also We also celebrated Asian American Pacific Islander Month. Yesterday we had an Asian festival here at the General Square campus, which was a lot of fun. We brought in Bergen Community College has a Filipino dance group that does a tinkling dance with bamboos, and that was fun. I told them, I said, you know your president, Dr. Friedman, he was here, we love him. So they were excited to have that connection as well. And then also celebrating Arab American Heritage Month. So we had a Middle Eastern festival last week. So shout out to all the student life staff that are a big part of making all of that happen all the time. And I do want to also give a special shout out to our Student Government Association and our clubs and honor societies that have been extremely active, going to conferences, going to the NJCCC student and alumni convening. Just extremely impressive what our student and student leaders do all the time, in addition to being extremely successful academic students. Leadership-wise, I want to give a shout out. Angela Tizzo brought to our college training for our students, Communication for Changemakers. There's an online program that we had about 25 students complete, student leaders complete this semester. Our National Society of Leadership and Success, this is one of our largest semesters we've had in my time here, in my 7-8 years. This year we had a little over 230 new members join this semester alone. And then for NSLS, what we do is we work them through a Foundations of Leadership certificate, and we had about 125 students complete that Foundations of Leadership certificate. So kind of best practices, NSLS encourages us to have about 40% of our new members complete that certificate, and we are over 50%. So extremely proud of the hard work that's been put into that. And then our DEI Student Passport Program, I had to dip out. This may have already been shared, but we saw a 75% completion this semester. We started with 60 students in the program. 45 have completed. We look forward to celebrating them at our completion ceremony. So a big thank you and shout out to Amala Ogburn, Deliana Costa, and Diana Galvez, who have really put a lot of work into this semester to support the students. And shout out to the students. We've had an amazing semester. These students just, they get it. There's a lot of training that we gave, but they came into it just really as equity leaders to begin with. A lot of support, a lot of community building that happened in that program. Really something special. And of course, commencement, I know you shared some of that before, but I do want to give a big thank you to anybody who participated in our grad salute events last week. We welcomed over almost 500 students between the 2 days, about 465 or so. So we got our cap and gowns out, gave them their tickets, gave them all the information, connected them with alumni services, advisors, everything in between. So for any students in the room or for any faculty staff that talk to students, we did have our deadline for our name pronunciation RSVP form. So if students did miss that deadline, let them know that's okay, still come. We'll still say their name, all of that is still happening, but the deadline gave us the opportunity, the student the opportunity to let us know how to pronounce their name. So now Marching Order, which is a vendor we work with, is recording the names and getting it all ready. And we look forward to celebrating our students. So if any students still need a cap and gown, they can pick it up at the Journal Square bookstore as well as their guest tickets. And if they have any questions, email us at graduationevents@hccc.edu. And we're looking forward to it. We're less than 3 weeks away.
Thank you, Veronica. Wow.
Wow is right.
Wow. Amazing. Really phenomenal. Any others? Well, you know what? Hudson is home. Thank you all. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Thanks for all you do.